Okay. So it's Friday Fun Day again. Sorry for not being able to stream last week. I had some personal stuff I had to deal with, and now that thing is it's okay. I fixed it. But today, joining me, it's the wonderful Alex.
Hello.
So,
Yeah, never apologize for having real world stuff come up. Real world things always take priority.
yeah, well, okay. The thing is, I barely streamed the following days. Like the
Well, I
Monday,
mean,
I streamed for just 1 hour and I lost all the energy.
hey, I mean, when personal real life stuff comes up, even when it's over, sometimes it leaves you drained afterwards. That's okay.
Well,
Stuff happens.
mm, in the case of Monday, I was invited to another stream during the day. So
Hmm.
I was streaming for like 4, 5 hours, and then I had class for
Um.
another two, two something hours. So I
Oh.
just
So
jumped
so then
straight
it
from
was
one thing to the other. And when it was time for my own stream, I was just drained.
just laying on the floor like, oh, I want to, but also I can't.
Yeah, in the
I
beginning,
completely get it.
I was, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's work on this. And then it's like
Yeah.
1 hour in, oh, I'm dying.
You're like, guys, I'm not going to be here very long. I'm fading fast.
So, how was this week for you?
Not too bad. Uh, I had to wake up several different times. The the family emergency that I was dealing with, that I think I've told you about, has
Yeah,
been resolved.
I'm glad to hear it.
And let me tell you that sometimes medical people need to they need to like actually tell you things, because oh my god, we're sitting here this whole time worried sick,
Yeah.
and oh, turns out the reason family member ain't feeling too good is actually not related at all to the thing they were talking about. So oops.
Yeah.
Oh, King Greed says, ooh, he's back, and Cece too. Hello, how are both of you today?
Well,
I'm good. I'm a little bit sleepy,
and
so forgive
I'm
me if I
happy
yawn.
that King Grid is with us because he's a real trooper. He's always there.
Yee!
And well, I'm sorry that you're sleepy. And what are you gonna do because you're streaming after me?
I know. I don't know. I have I have a cup of caffeinated tea right here, so
Well,
I might get more.
you have
I might
some
get
time.
more.
Maybe you could take a short nap in between.
Yeah, I could take a nap. Snooze a
Yeah,
little bit after dinner, maybe.
but if you're feeling not up to this, I can let you
No,
go. I
I'm
have
not that
no.
tired.
Well, but
No.
I mean, my concern is your health and safety first. And
Oh no, don't
sorry,
worry, I'm fine.
sorry, the audience comes after. You know.
Oh yes. And
So
don't worry, I'm fine. I was just letting people know so that when I yawn, and I'm fighting one right now, that when I yawn, they know that it's just because I'm tired. It's not that I'm bored or like want to leave or nothing.
no,
I'm
it's
just.
not like you're hurting my feelings or anything.
I'm just tired.
And I don't know why I went Scooby Doo there, but
It's a good voice to let. Oh
I
God! Speaking of, oh sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was going to say I cannot do the Scooby Doo laugh, but I can do the creepy one. But
My grandpa could do a Scooby Doo laugh so well that for a little while I wondered, like as a child, I wondered if like he had played Scooby Doo on TV.
okay, so you were going to say?
Oh yeah, there. Okay, so I don't know how much TV stuff you watch, but I assume that you've probably heard about Riverdale and how bizarre of a show that ended up being.
Uh, Riverdale. You mean the animated series, the live
I'm talking about the
action?
live action, yeah, the live action CW
No,
one
I
that
have
went
just
on.
seen a couple screens here and there.
Okay. So that show got really weird. It's final season because they've decided they're not renewing it, at least at the moment. Season 5, I guess. Uh, came out recently, I think. I don't know. I don't watch it. I've just watched people talk about it because it's bonkers. So the show's first season started out just like a teen high school drama. Because that's basically what Archie is. The Archie comic is.
Well,
it's a dude named Archie in high school.
Comics for teens, right? That's
Yeah. So they had the show like that, but I forget who the villain of the first season was, but it was like a dude robbing places or something. But the season ended with this really bizarre cliffhanger of Archie going into like the bathroom to wash his face and stuff and be like, do that whole like male protagonist, oh thank god it's over mirror scene that's like in everything. And then he hears yelling and gunshots from outside, and he runs out and he discovers that the diner got robbed and his dad tried to stop the robber and he got shot.
It's Spider-Man again.
Yeah, his dad didn't die. No, but like his dad got shot, and then that's where the season ended, with him being like, and then that moment changed things forever. And I was like, okay. Then the whole show just went off the rails. We had, God, what is some of the weird stuff they had? They had a season in which there were two consecutive cults acting at the same time. Archie went to prison. Archie started a fight club in prison. Archie fought a bear in the woods when he tried to escape the FBI in Canada. Then he came back and joined the football team again. And then one of the oh God, which girl was it? One of the girl leads ended up forming a religion around herself. There's like a really strange line. It's Veronica, or she says something to the effect of like, "Be gone from my temple, for I am Veronica, queen of the bees." Jughead. There's like a cliffhanger for season 2 where it flashes forward 5 years and the cast is standing in the woods. Some of them are kind of in their underwear. Yeah, they're all in their underwear and they're covered in blood. And one of them says, "Jughead's dead. We can never talk about this." And it's like, did they eat him? What happened? And no, they didn't. He just got hit in the head with a rock, but it was an accident. But also, there's an evil D&D cult taking over the town. And then there's the Goblin King, which may or may not be the Mothman, but isn't, but aliens, but no, but zombie plague, but that's gone off screen at the second episode. But no, the whole series was just like that. And
okay, I have to ask.
Go ahead.
Was the comic anything like that?
Okay, so that's where the weird thing is that the comic itself had a mainline series that was just high school kid shenanigans. But every once in a while, it did a spin-off comic, like a special event comic, and there was one in which Archie has to fend off his friends and all the people in the town because they've turned into zombies. There's also one of Archie versus the Punisher, where the Punisher thinks that Archie did a crime and comes to Coolsville to kill... Oh, not Coolsville, that's Scooby-Doo. Comes to Riverdale to kill him. There's Archie versus the Predator.
What?
I think he fought aliens as well, but that's not mainline stuff. That's like spin-off, what if issue kind of stuff. But it's like the people who made the show saw that, viewers were like, oh, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just, it's high school shtick stuff, so whatever. And they were like, quick, grab the weird issues. We're gonna cram them all together. Like, there's, I'm trying to remember I think it's Super Eye Patch Wolf. Super Eye Patch Wolf on YouTube did a discussion about how it's like terrible, like the show is really bad, but it's also kind of amazing how completely off the rails it goes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I think the last season had like, oh, all of those weird things you saw, they didn't happen, except that they did in another universe. And they're all colliding together in Riverdale because Jughead is an author or some nonsense like that. I don't know. It didn't make any sense, but that's how that got squared away. I say, knowing that that actually clears up nothing. Huh. So that's how weird Riverdale was. So, in the spirit of Riverdale, there is a live-action Scooby-Doo show now. It's crowdfunded. I don't remember if it is also airing on the CW, but I know that it's definitely a passion project, and it starts off just like a high school drama-y kind of thing, except that the show is drawing from all the Scooby-Doo shows. So that means that ghosts and supernatural stuff are indeed real, because Scooby-Doo had like, oh god, it had so many spin-offs in which people just met the supernatural. Like the Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts is part of the plot. The Hex Sisters from the Scooby-Doo movie about the witch, I forget what it's called, are in it, which means that witches and magic are real. So it's gearing up to be a fascinatingly odd show, but it feels like Riverdale, but like maybe done right, because it's weird off the bat, and it feels like maybe it's got a plan, whereas Riverdale was just like, quick, we're losing viewers to something weird.
Well, isn't there an expression called jumping the shark for stuff like this?
Yes. Hey, Ivan.
Hey.
Jumping the shark, I believe, is from Happy Days, and that's because that's the Fonz. Yeah, it was one of the. I think it's actually the last episode. I think it's the last episode, or an episode in which they thought they weren't getting more. I don't remember, but I know that the episode ends. There's like this whole thing about the Fonz saying he's gonna drive his motorcycle off of a ramp over a shark. And that's where jumping the shark came from.
Okay, so it's quite literal.
It was quite literal in that sense, and so now anytime a show does anything completely crazy, seemingly like out of nowhere and clearly to get attention, it's called jumping the shark. It's because sometimes it succeeds, but most of the time it does not.
Yeah.
Most of the time it just ends up being a weird thing that happened. Yeah, Ivan says from what he's heard, that was probably like the last good episode of Happy Days was that one.
Well,
I know
if it was the last episode, yeah, that would make sense, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was like, oh, they were running out of, he says they were running out of feasible ways to show how cool Fonzie was, so they had him on water skis attached to a shark.
That's to a shark.
Okay. I know that he jumped his motorcycle over a shark. You know what? I'm gonna go look at a quick summary of it. Let's see. The Fonz jumps a shark.
By the way,
there's a
Ivan,
clip here.
How are you, Ivan? You magnificent bastard. I'm saying this because he's publishing more stuff. Well, he's in more stuff recently, and he's just great.
Okay, and agreed. Let's see. It says under questions. This is excerpt from Wikipedia. Why did Fonzie jump the shark? In the episode, the central characters visit Los Angeles, where a water skiing Fonzie Henry, played by Henry Winkler, answers a challenge to his bravery by wearing swim trunks and his trademark leather jacket and jumping over a confined shark. The stunt was created as a way to showcase the actor's real-life water skiing skills.
Okay, did someone call him chicken or something?
In the show, yeah, I don't know about real life though.
I mean, to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's from an episode called Hollywood Part 3. And I guess they were like trying to move the timeline forward, but it is considered like basically like the end of it being good. After that, it just gets like weirder and weirder and less good. So
That's
that
sad.
appears to be, yeah. Well, it's one of the. Oh, hello, Dezarin. We're talking about Happy Days, the episode in which the Fawns literally jumped over a shark with water skis and then coined the phrase "jumping the shark." And we got on this topic because we were talking about how strange a show Riverdale is because Henke has not seen it more than a couple of clips.
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain how very strange it is.
I just saw the trailers, and honestly, it felt like the characters were creating some kind of sex cults.
Yeah, that was the farm. That was one of the many cults, and the people in that cult did indeed get raptured at the end of the episode, except it was later retconned in a completely different episode that did not happen. Except that it did. But yeah, to sum it up for you, Dezarin, the weirdness with Archie, because Henke asked me, is the show is the comic actually that weird? And the answer is no. The mainline comic is not. But Archie has had many one shot, what if and spin-off comics in which he has done everything from battling his friends turned zombies to being stalked by the Punisher for crimes he didn't commit to having to fight the Predator from the Predator franchise. So Predator and Archie take place in the same universe,
which is terrifying.
Which is, yeah. God, if you take crossover comics to be considered canon, and some of them are considered canon, there's a lot of weird stuff that exists in the same universe. Transformers exists in the Marvel universe as like actual beings. My Little Pony exists in Transformers, which means that My Little Pony exists in the Marvel universe. Star Trek exists in the Marvel universe. The DC universe exists in the Marvel universe. Marvel Studio itself exists in the Marvel universe and makes comics out of the superheroes that live in that universe.
Yeah, I remember the Spider-Man from the 90s animated show. They had this episode about Stan Lee meeting Spider-Man. Like he was from some kind of other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, Spider-Man, it's kind of weird how the Spider-Man series ended up kind of branching out into the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that the 90s, yeah, the 90s cartoon kind of ended with the seeds of what would become the Spider-Verse, and now we have, the Into the Spider-Verse. The Spider-Verse is a thing that exists in the comics.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a Spider-Man fan. So.
It's okay. I'm a Spider-Man fan, so I know these things.
No, just to be clear, mm-hmm. that I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. I know.
That's okay. I mean, you don't have to like it. Though I will say that even if you're not a fan of Spider-Man, I do recommend the Into the Spider-Verse movie. It's actually really good. Even if just from like an appreciating animation standard, the animation's gorgeous.
Yeah, I tried to give it a go. I couldn't.
That's okay. Hey, if it doesn't appeal to you, it doesn't appeal to you. And there's like nothing you can do about it. So.
Come on. No, there's some things that you try, but you can't. Like, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this, but seriously, I I was watching Black Panther and I fell asleep in the first 20 minutes.
Hey, that's all right. Again, if it doesn't appeal to you, it doesn't
Like,
appeal to you.
the hell's
And
going on here?
unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, some of the Marvel movies are a bit hit and miss. I think that the first Black Panther movie is pretty solid, even if some of the CG is kind of a meh.
Yeah, it was rushed, like
Mm,
really rushed. Like the
yeah,
guys at the CGI department had no time to work on stuff, and they said, you know
yeah,
what, ship it. I don't care the shape in what it is, just ship it.
yeah.
And
Unfortunately, that's a side effect of Marvel rushing a lot of their stuff because
yeah,
they're trying to get as many out as possible, and that's like bad.
and of course there was all this political clout around it. It's like, oh, you don't like that, then you are a hater, then you are a racist. Like, dude, if I don't like a movie, I just don't like the movie.
Yeah.
To,
It's unfortunate because then people who really were racist like hopped on the boat going, yeah. And if I happen to not like so and so, then you can't say I'm racist.
yeah,
And we're like, I see what you're doing. It was a mess.
yeah, it was a real political mess. It was like, wow.
Yeah, the same thing happened for Star Wars too, when they were like, oh, Finn, the stormtrooper, and like everybody who claimed to be a Star Wars fan, who I guess never actually paid attention to any of the Star Wars lore, was like, he can't be black. There's no black stormtroopers. And I'm like, no, there were no black clone troopers because they were all cloned from the same guy. But
Yeah.
all of the troopers after that were volunteers. So
Well,
yes, they were.
well,
Or they were
volunteers with a gun in the back of their heads, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Volunteered at gunpoint. So, you know, you're wrong. And now, of course, there are people all up in arms about. Then people got up in arms about Rose, as though the entirety of Star Wars was not based on Asian films in the first place.
Yeah.
King Greed says, "Stop hating what I like." Winky face.
No,
And
there was a meme that was "Stop liking what I don't like." That was a funny one with the kid and the angry face, and like, "Stop liking what I don't like."
Dezarin says, "I'm not alone in remembering that being the Buffy show was a good show, right?" I have not seen Buffy in its entirety, but I think that Buffy on the whole is a pretty good show. It's a bit cheesy, but I think that that's on purpose.
Yeah, but that was the thing,
quite
that they were just
amusing.
having fun.
Yeah, it's just having fun.
It was for teens. Come on, it was not to be taken seriously.
Yeah, I did like the how the series starts with, and I guess this is going to be spoilers if you've not seen Buffy, but I mean that show's been out for so long.
Wait, does she kill vampires?
Yes.
Oh no.
That a dude, God, I forgot his name. I want to say it's Niles. It probably was not. But a guy shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'm the person who's supposed to assist you because you're the Slayer, and somebody has to help the Slayer, and that's me." And she's like, "I don't need you." And he's like, "Yes, you do. You need it. Do you even know how to slay?" And she's like, "Yes, I have killed vampires before." So she already knows that she is the vampire slayer. So there's none of that. There's none of the like, I guess, wasting time. In this case, which I think actually applies to this because everybody kind of already knows what a vampire is. That's such a common lore thing for most countries. So if you said like Dracula, just about everybody would be like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." So I don't think you need to waste time of being like, "Oh no, what is that? That horrible thing that killed my friend? It is a vampire." What? You are the Slayer. I'm what? So she already knows. And he's like, "Oh well, I'll have to teach you how to use your Slayer powers." And she's like, "I don't need them to identify a vampire." And he's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Do you know that if there are vampires in this crowded room of people?" And she's like, "Yeah, there's 3. There's that guy, and that guy." And he's like, "How can you tell?" It turns out she can tell because they are not up to date on fashion. So they're all wearing like out of date stuff. Or
Okay.
acting really inhuman. So it's funny that it starts off that she already kind of knows.
Uh, that's some prejudice stuff, but okay. You know.
How dare you assume that people that aren't fashionable are vampires? Ooh. I think that one of the ways she was able to spot them is that one guy was clearly too old to be hitting on the girls that he was hitting on or something. She's like, and that guy is way too old.
Come on.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, that might not be a vampire, but you should go slay that anyway, please, for the rest of us. We will thank you. But yeah, so the show itself is pretty good. It tries to do things that are unexpected, and some of them are hit or miss at times. But it's also from, the '90s, so it is very '90s in places. But I don't think it crosses over into the realm of like, oh, I can't watch this. This is not great. Though it may at times cross in the realm of like, oh, I winced there for a moment because that was like I remember a time when I acted like that. Oh no. Who I was in the '90s is coming back to haunt me. Oh no. Even though I was a teen in the '90s.
Imagine if someone came to Buffy and told her, girl, you got this wrong. You're not the vampire slayer. You're the vampire layer.
I mean,
she
did fall in love with a vampire in almost the first episode, and that was Angel, and he got his own TV show full of angst because he had lived so long and so many bad things had happened. He was the OG emo boy.
Oh yeah.
And everybody knows that a girl cannot resist an emo boy because he is in touch with his emotions and can do more than, I guess, do the stereotypical guy thing of being like, yeah, boobs and cars. And the girl goes, man, I really wish that
Ivan knows where I was going with that.
Oh, the porn parody.
Yeah. and the vampire dude is like, oh.
Oh.
It's a really funny clip.
That's funny.
Okay,
but yeah, she does fall
I have
a vampire
questions
like right away. So
for you.
Yes.
I
have answers.
I hope so. Okay, why are we here? Where are we going?
Where are we going?
McDonald's, perhaps, but no, that's
Let's see. Let me open up my reference that I have.
Yes, because I have questions about art direction.
All right. Isn't it convenient to just have the artist right there?
That's why.
So you don't have to send like a photo and go, so how is this?
That's why I have you here, to exploit your artisticness.
All right, let's see. Were there any specific parts that...
Yes. Okay, let's start with a simple one. Mm-hmm. So if you see my screen, I have this piece colored.
Yes.
So how you want this to be attached? You want this to hang from the belt, just like that? You want to have...
Yeah, it hangs from the belt.
Sort of like a piece of cloth or leather that connects to the belt? Or just space magic and it floats there?
It can be space magic if you don't think that that's going to like interrupt your ability to pose it later, because I think
it's easier with space magic, actually.
Okay, then yeah, space magic is good for the bag.
Okay, yes. So the bag itself, because I saw in the reference that it's a box.
It's a little box. I think that if I were to actually like draw her reaching into the pouch, that front part that the star is on would probably pop up. So it's probably like a little flap.
Okay,
covering
so
the front.
would you like to have a flap here for this bag of holding?
Yeah,
Okay.
and have a little.
Well, then I'll give you some homework. If you, when you have the
Oh,
time, not right now, when you have the time, if you could do some sketches about the shape that you want for the bag and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I can
Let
go
me
into the
grab.
details. That I will appreciate it a lot. Okay, just write it down for now. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna just grab a picture of that with the snipping tool.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Snip.
Want
And
me
I
to
will draw on it.
get
Because really all I had in mind was like a thin line going down one of the sides to show that the panel with the star on it is itself a flap.
Well,
It
we can
thicker.
make it any way you want. That's why I have you here, so you can direct the art.
That is how I will.
Next question. Yes, the star here in the belt. That star. How you want it attached to the belt? You want it to be like a belt buckle, just the star shape?
Let's see. The star itself is supposed to serve as a belt buckle. I think that the only real detail that I had for it, besides just being stuck on the front, is that it's a little bit curved.
Okay.
Outward. And then I think that that's kind of all that I did for that.
Again, if you wanna do it like a different way, if you wanna give it more detail or anything, you can just sketch it and we can work it into the model.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I'll think about it. I know that I originally wanted her to just be like a fairly simple cartoony design. Because usually I go overboard with details.
No, but we can explore ideas. Maybe you don't feel it later, like, oh, I don't want that to be a Texan buckle, I want it to be something else. We can try things. Next. Yes, the big stars of the show. There. So, since the tentacles go through, let me see the reference. Yes, and in the reference, it seems like the stars just cover the thin part of the tentacles.
Yeah.
So, if this was in real life, I would have something like a hole that goes through the star,
and then tuck the
tentacles can go in there.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Like we were talking about before, the translation from 3D to 2D would have to be different because in 2D it's a star no matter what way you look at it, because that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But in 3D we have to actually plot a star.
Yeah, but that's why we're discussing this, because we're exploring ideas. So I will make a passage for the tentacles, so they can go through the star, and the tentacles will just squeeze through, like it's one of those thingies for the hair.
Yeah, like a hair scrunchie, but it's a star.
Next question. In the boots, she has some stars. They appear to be flat.
Yeah, they're just like a sticker.
Yeah. So you want them to be stickers? You want them to have some volume? Okay.
Yeah, they can just be a sticker.
All right. Let's
make your life easier.
No, it's fine by me. I can just mask it, and I can just add the shape. Actually, adding the shape is easier than painting, believe it or not. Yes, this thing in the middle. So it seems to be like a window, like the window from a
it's like a little glass porthole.
Yeah. So I guess I need a flat glass, and change this. This is like a donut right now. So it has a flat side and another flat side. It's more like a cylinder than a donut. Okay. And it just sits flat like that, right?
Yeah, it just sits flat, and you don't have to worry about anything behind it, even though it's designed like a piece of glass. You can't see anything through it, just like with her little visor. So you don't have to worry about like eyes behind there or anything.
Okay. The visor. This thing here.
Yes.
The shape of it. Because I think you gave me a reference for the front, and it looks like a bean-ish.
Yeah, slight bean shape, kind of like oh gosh, the only thing I think of is like the shape of those big safety goggles that you wore in like science class.
Mm-hmm.
They're shaped a little bit like that, so they're
Okay,
like
so it goes up in the middle,
yeah, just
a bit here.
Yeah.
Then it goes a bit lower, and where it's not symmetry enable.
Haha, it tricked you.
Okay, I'll just enable symmetry. Run well. Multiple subdivisions are not okay. No worse. But yeah, now I have this enabled. Yeah, let's see. This goes here, up a bit.
Yes.
And these corners need to go out a bit. Okay, and this middle part needs to go like that. How's that?
Yeah, that's about right. Can we pull the bottom part, the bottom sides inwards just a little bit?
Sure. How's that?
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
Sorry for the creaking of my chair. It tends to try and roll away from me, so I'm trying to get it back.
Don't worry, my chair tends to spit me out. It's annoying.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Ivan says it's a touchscreen that allows you to select from the McDonald's menu. Well,
it is
I
kind of.
I guess, you know.
It does remind me a little bit of like the touch screens that you can use to like pour your soda now, where you can just scroll through and pick all the different sodas, or like stuff you didn't see before.
Oh yeah, I have seen those in Manchester when I was there.
I like them. They're fancy.
Yeah, but it makes me think. Yeah, this is just mixing everything together. You know, it's like.
I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, we kind of did that with the drink dispensers when we were young anyway. At least I did. I don't know why we did it. It's not like it tasted any good.
Yeah, it was like a challenge for all kids.
Yeah.
You have to drink it, the mix that has everything in it, and it was
all the different
terrible. Yes, next thing. The root of the tentacles.
Yeah.
So, since in the reference it comes out from the helmet,
yeah, it comes out from the bottom
small.
of the helmet.
So how about I make like a couple ports here, like a couple holes?
Okay. Yeah.
And then I make the tentacle smaller and tuck them in.
Yeah. Because like the image I had in mind was just sort of like she's almost like she's playing pretend, like it's some horrible space creature playing pretend as like an Earth, like like a 50s sci-fi. So it's almost like she just quite literally just thunked a bucket helmet over the top of her head, and so her little tentacle braids are just kind of popping out the bottom.
Yeah, I mean the concept is quite cute for it.
Thank you.
Okay, I need to find the original tentacle, because I can modify it easier there. Yes. And I think for now, that's all the questions I had.
Okay.
Now it's time for your feedback. Tell me things that you like, things that you say, oh, please, for the love of a cow, what are you doing
Please
with my
change
child?
the lore. My poor space squid child. Let's see. I think my only request, excuse me, is to make the boots a bit chunkier.
Sure thing.
Because I know that like her legs are thin, but in the like if you look in the reference, they're like a big puffy boot.
Yep, we can do that. Anything else?
Let's see. The gloves look okay. And her shoulder pads look all right. I think that's about it.
Okie dokie.
Just gonna look again just to be sure, but it looks like everything's about the way it should be.
Okay, how about the stars in the antennae? Antennae? Is that the plural of antenna?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, those look good. The only let's see. I know that like from the back there, that you've got like the antenna is just sort of sticking on the back.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could either like oh my gosh, kind of like with the stars that are on the braids, if we could do that up on the antenna so that the tips of the antennas were hidden inside the stars.
Sure thing. We can do that.
Yeah.
I'll make these stars.
Well, having them taped to the antenna would be a funny idea.
I can do that too.
No, I like that. I like having
no, in there too. I can do that. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I just want them tucked inside like the braids.
Okay. That's well, in that case, I'll make the stars a bit thicker so the antenna can go in there.
Nice.
Because, you know, it's a bit complicated to put that thing if it's too thick.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Ivan, you can make jokes with I just said.
Yeah, well, the downside is like you were telling me before, is like, you know, it's not going to be a clear one-to-one, because if you were to, you know, have the antennas be as thin as they are in the drawing in real life, they would just pop right off and snap into little pieces, because, you know, plastic can't do that. Well, which makes sense. So
depending on the scale, yes, you can do it. But then if you wanted to be small, then you would have to pick another material. Instead of having plastic, you could take something like a thin wire.
Yeah, and that's what it would probably have to be.
And then it will be fun because the stars will go boing.
A tiny coiled little spring.
I mean, it's entirely possible. But I think the thick antennas just, or antennae, they just look, you know, they look fun. Okay.
There we go.
So let's get to work.
Ivan says, sorry, I was making a tweet. What was the embarrassing thing you said?
Oh, something really embarrassing. Don't worry. You were not here.
Yeah, don't worry about it. If you want to know what it was, you'll have to listen to the whole stream again and find out.
You know, I had a stream with Ivan a few months ago, and I'm still dealing with it on YouTube.
Oh no, is YouTube yelling at you, or are people commenting?
No, it's YouTube. Because apparently Spotify betrayed me and switched the playlist to something else. Because apparently Spotify can do that. It gave me a pop-up window. It's like, oh, try new music. Like that.
Oh, and you thought the same settings would apply.
And they just switched to random music, and I was thinking, oh, you know, I'm liking this music. It's different from the usual playlist. And I had like 30 songs with the DMCA. It's like, yeah, you know.
Oh no, that's awful.
I still have to fix like 10 or so.
Oof.
And the thing is, I'm using one of the YouTube's tools that allows you to silence just the music, so you can have the voice in the foreground. And I'm doing it because, you know, I want to keep the conversations music. I could not care less. So I'm just telling you to do your thing, but that takes so long that Sometimes it's up to 2 days.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm glad that they have a thing where it's like, oh, automatically clear out the audio that's copywritten. I just know that sometimes it also kind of leaves everything sounding a little like watery.
Yeah.
Like it's got that weird warble. Now I've heard it happen in some of the videos I've watched where it's like, oh, there was music here, but it got flagged, so I removed it. But you can hear that slight wobble in the voice, and I always feel bad that they have to apologize. They're like, "I'm so sorry that it doesn't sound great. That's what happened." It's like, no, it's fine. I can tell that's what happened. I know what that sounds like, but I also feel bad that they have to even be like, "Oh, I'm sorry that this happened," and it's not their fault. There's also plenty of places that claim that music is like, "Oh no, this is free to use," and it's
Yeah.
not.
I trusted too many videos that were no copyright music, and then it's full copyright. It's like, dude, you're
Oopsie.
just uploading things. It's terrible.
Yeah, for like the views and the clicks and
Yeah.
stuff, and then they'll just like hide any comment that's like, "This isn't free. This isn't copyright free. What are you talking about?" And then of course, I've gotten not strikes, but I've gotten little copyright flags on some of my games where that it's like a bunch of nonsense, or it's like, oh, this entire hour was copywritten by a company that doesn't exist for audio of buffalo sounds, and I'm like, what are you talking about? This is Silent Hill 2. What? Why buffalo?
Yeah,
Thankfully, that
sometimes
doesn't happen as much
these
as
things are
normal.
just ridiculous.
Yeah, there were a lot of fake companies making little like fake flags
Yeah,
to
and
so they could make money off of your
that's a
thing.
really big problem, and YouTube doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Thankfully, because of how the system works now, which is what people were complaining about, that specific thing doesn't happen a lot. But there's still instances of like the people who make the false claim don't really get in trouble. They just don't get to take whatever.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know how the hell do they do it.
I don't know why they would either. It's like so.
Well, why? Because they found a way to profit from that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work to just do it for cloud or just to piss off people. No, someone's profiting from that.
No, it's definitely to take money, but like morally, it's like, wow, how slimy do you have to be to just throw some poor, because they always go after like small creators.
Exactly.
And it's like, you're gonna take this poor creator who's just starting out, and like they might even be a kid, and you're gonna just chuck them under the bus then, huh? And it's like, yes, I am. Like, great. Let's see. Dozarin just said, I swear I keep getting asked to help with things I know nothing about, and then when something goes wrong, I get blamed. I mean, you asked me to help with something I don't know about. What did you expect? I agree.
Mystical knowledge or something?
Yeah. Pull that out of the ether. I mean, you kids have your cell phones and your Google. That happened at my last job. Somehow I was everybody's tech wizard, except for when I looked at it when I don't know. And they're like, how come you don't know? I'm like, I don't. They're like, well, we kind of would like you to figure out what's wrong with it, because if not, we have to call the actual tech guy and we have to pay him. And that should have been my flag to be like, uh-oh, I've accidentally got them thinking.
Experts things and things, it's time that we do that thing. It is time that you plug your stuff.
Plug all of the socially things.
Yes.
I can plug my Twitch now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Actually put my stream in here. My Twitch. Alright. Give me a sec, I'll grab the other one. forgetting like
Dang it.
what notepad I just like put the whole list in.
Woof. Okay, that's better.
I don't know what happened.
No, it's well, this is a bit embarrassing. I'm severely overweight. Uh, I am. So I have belly folds, and apparently my pants have been riding below the belly fold,
Oh.
and one of the hairs got cut into the action, and it grew into one of those sits.
Oh.
It just
Just hurt.
hurts every now and then. It's like, oh, you remember me? I'm here. It's
Biggest
nothing serious.
asshole.
It will go away in like a couple days, but it's in
There you
that stage. It's like, yes, you will remember me.
Ugh.
And
Oh god.
that's because it's summer and I get sweaty when I'm too many hours in the chair. I know I should move more, and it's one thing on top of the other.
I absolutely know the pain of being like, I should have gotten up and like gone outside today, but I did not.
And I know I should take care of my weight and stuff because honestly, I'm at 145 kilos, which is a lot in freedom units.
Freedom unit.
Yeah, I know.
That's great. I'm sorry. Oh my god.
But yeah, no, it's because I got into a severe depression or mild, strong depression, and well, like the common phrase goes, I just ate my feelings. I got a lot
Yeah.
of rage at work, and
I
yeah,
completely understand.
it went for too many years. I spent 7 years working in logistics in jobs I hated, and
Ugh.
I
Yeah.
paid a high price for it. That was my
Yeah,
health.
that's why after I lost my job at the firm for something stupid, I threw my hands in the air. I went, I can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah. So this
So
is my advice for you guys. Don't let bad job ruin your life.
yeah, you can always start looking for something else.
Yeah.
And I
Or
encourage it.
or
There's
your
nothing wrong with
or your
me.
bodies because I had scars from jobs, and
Ooh.
the worst part is that people tell you, "Oh yeah, you should be proud to have a scar from working." It's like, no. If you have a scar, it's because something went terribly wrong.
Yeah.
That's
you
not a
shouldn't-
thing to be proud of.
Yeah. It's nothing. It's suffering for your job is not a thing to be like. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
Goodness no. I think the only time anybody should be like, yeah, I'm proud of this scar is if it's like, oh, I got this scar because I saved someone's life, or I got this scar because I fought a bear.
So you know how I got these scars? It was a door that wasn't lubed, or something else that
Ooh.
wasn't lubed.
Yeah, if you get a scar because your job couldn't be bothered to do whatever, then that's not something to be like, haha, it's good that I got this scar. That's a hold on a minute, I shouldn't be getting injured here.
Yeah, no, I honestly I have lost teeth
Ooh.
at work because this was back in Spain. One day, we are closing. This was when I was working in a company packing fish, like fresh fish, and of course, terrible job. It's a job for immigrants. There's no other word for it because it's the kind of people that were there, myself included.
So it's not
sort of.
It's not a job that's completely thankless.
Yeah, and we had people that came straight from jail, people that just got into the country, and I'm saying this as an immigrant myself, 'cause I know what it takes you to move from one country to another. So I've been there more than once, sadly. But still, there are some people that behave like scumbags, and we had plenty of those that they're just scumbags. And there was this guy that was an asshole. We were closing, we had everything in place, everything was just ready to shut the main door and go home. And this guy was fucking around with the forklift and putting the last of the equipment in place. And since we didn't have that much space. Well, he just hit the door with the forklift,
Oh.
and the railing came undone. And this was in the really back part,
Oh gosh.
the highest place. So everybody was going, so we were just three guys left. It's like, yeah, we are just dropping this here, dropping the forklift there, and we're closing. And this guy just hits the door, and he didn't even say sorry. He just stopped the forklift and said "woo" and just fucking ran off.
Oh,
So-
leaves you there hurt. Jesus.
And well, me and another guy, we were just there alone. We had the keys. I was like, the fuck did this guy just do? He just fucked up the door. And we cannot call the service to fix the door because they are not open. It's
Mhm.
already 11 p.m. We should be home by now. Nobody's going to come to help us, so we have to fix this on our own. So
Oh.
I told the guy to fetch me some tools. Meanwhile, I was just crawling in between some of the plastic containers, really big, like bathtub containers, in between the wall and the containers, so I could crawl up my way to the upper part of the door. It was like 8 meters from the
Mhm.
from the floor. Sorry, I don't know how much is that in imperial.
That's okay. And roughly a meter is about 3 feet.
So 24 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
let's
it's
say.
pretty high up.
So it was just the rail got a bit bent, and the rollers that go into that rail, they just jumped off. And lucky for us, the brakes jump into place, and the door was stuck that way. But in order to move the door and get the rollers back into the railings, you had to release the brake. And we had a rope for that you pull the release, and yeah,
Mhm.
the problem is that that door was around 600 kilos. So if you pull the brakes lever, those 600 kilos just go straight down, like really fast. So what I was doing, I was hitting the railing with a hammer back into shape. At the same time, I was pulling the other side of the railing,
Oh, to
the
try
side
and
that
get
had
it.
the hanger from the ceiling to get it back into shape. And the rollers were slowly going back in, but I had to have the brakes off in order to move it, because
Yeah, because you
That's
can't
what-
get it back onto the thing if it's
yeah,
locked
because
in place.
the rollers were what deformed the railing in the beginning, so I had to
Yeah.
just slowly put them in. So what I was doing, holding with one hand the hanger that was the piece of metal that was attached to the ceiling that was holding the railing. With the right hand, I was hitting with the hammer to get the railing into shape. In my mouth, I had the rope because I have to keep pulling the rope, and I was hanging with my feet from in between a wall and a plastic container that was wet. 11 in the night, almost midnight, with barely any light, banging there, banging there. To the point that yes, I got it back into the railing. Yes, the rollers went in. Yes, and so the door went down. Problem is that the brakes are built into the door, and the lever of the brakes it's in the door itself. So when the door went down, it pulled the rope, and it took one of my tooth.
Ouch! Oh my god.
Yeah, it was one of the premolars, I think. One of my teeth just went flying with the rope.
Oh my gosh. Ivan says, "What happened next? Did you die? You died, didn't you?"
I wish I did, honestly, because the pain was just terrible, because it broke the tooth in half. It wasn't like it took the tooth in a single go. No, it just broke it.
Yeah, that hurts so bad.
Yeah,
I have
and-
thankfully not had that happen, but I have chipped a tooth before, and it hurts.
Yeah, it's like a
Oh, it
knife,
hurts.
you know. And for days, it hurts every time that you touch it. And well, if you
Especially if you're
touch it with
broken
your
enough that the
cheeks,
nerve is
it
exposed.
cuts your teeth, your cheeks. Sorry.
Desarin says he haunts the channel now. It's a ghost doing all of this work.
Oh yes. No,
I'm
but
glad that you did not end up becoming a ghost, though.
oh,
would be very sad.
I could be a cool ghost, you know.
I mean, yeah, but then that would mean that you would have had to have died first, and that's terribly sad.
Well, you know, I died, but I got better.
It's okay, I died, I got better.
Just like Commander Shepard, you know, he dies, but he gets better, or she, depending on the Shepard you play. Yeah, and I have other scars that are similar with similar stories, that stuff that you have to do in those kind of jobs that no one else will want to do.
Yeah, especially jobs in which you aren't actually supposed to be doing that, but they tell you to do it anyway.
Yeah, and you know, as bad as it sounds, that's the kind of jobs that are reserved for immigrants, because it's jobs that other people don't want to do, and maybe because they have qualifications, maybe because they have better choices in life, or you name it. That tends to be that people in those positions, immigrants especially, they cannot say no.
Yeah,
they just have to get things done.
We have similar in like we're not even like polite about it in the U.S. We call it unskilled labor.
Yeah.
Implying like you're only stupid people. That's the only job you can do, and that's like service jobs, shipping jobs, you know, stuff that doesn't require a degree. And that, I think that just off the bat, that's fucking rude as hell, because I'm sorry, you want to hire somebody to do this job that nobody wants to do, because you guys think it's boring, but it needs to be done, and the first thing you're going to do is insult them and then be like, why don't you want to work here? I wonder.
Well,
but
that's the thing that sadly, when you are an immigrant, or when you are a second-class citizen, yes, that's what you become, a second-class citizen. And it's not depending on any race or anything like that. It's like, if you're an immigrant, you can be any race, any color, anything in anywhere. The situation,
so you're not originally from here, so therefore
situation will be exactly the same. And I have had this in Spain, I had this here in Sweden, I had it in Finland, I had it in the US. So it's not oh, it's because you're that race in, no, because you come from somewhere else.
Are you foreign?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry if I'm getting too dark with all this.
No, it's okay. I mean, you needed to vent it. That's fine.
No, I didn't. Just brings the neighbors back. No.
But yeah, there's so many just awful and thankless jobs, and the notion that people have to, it's like, oh well, you need to do these things because if you're not, then you're like a quitter. I think that's such an unfair perspective to instill in people. So like, you know, if you're working a job that's making you miserable, if it's affecting your health, if you're like tired all the time, you're getting hurt, or you know, you feel stressed constantly, that's not a good job. And I'm not saying like walk in tomorrow and quit, but no matter how long you've been working, you can absolutely look for another job.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of places in which you don't even need to give a 2 weeks notice. Like in the United States, we have this like, oh, it's proper protocol to give a 2 week notice so they can replace you. It turns out that in most states, you are not required to give a 2 weeks notice, because you have right to work. So you can just stand up and go, you know what, I'm done. Bye.
Here in Europe, it's based on company in most cases. So it's in the contract. When you sign the contract, they tell you what's the period that you have to give them notification. Like,
I understand that in some cases, for sure,
you have to do it 2 weeks, and others that said that I had to do it 1 month.
Yeah, if it's a question of like, oh,
Yeah.
especially if it's a case of like, oh, you've got like passwords and stuff. We need to change the system, or you know, we need time to get a person
Oh
and
no,
then give them to you because
that
you've got to show them how.
that's the funny thing.
It's not the case at
It's
all.
not the case at all.
Oh
No,
Lord.
because I
Okay.
remember that we had this computer when I was working at Schenker that had a password, and the guy that was working with that computer, he left the job because he was fed up. And 1 month later, we lost the post-it with the password
Well,
because it was always there. And was this guy that wrote the password there because nobody else would remember it. So we just called the guy. We're calling him like 4 a.m. It's like, yeah, sorry, dude, to call you, but yeah, some idiot lost the password. So you remember what the password is? And he's like, you know, I was just having a beer here at home at 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep because I've been on this job for like 15 years. I'm sorry for you guys. So here's the password.
yeah, I'm glad that he was nice to you guys. It's like, okay, I get that you're not calling me because you want to. You have no choice. So I'm not going to get mad at you.
Yeah,
Here's the
no,
password.
that's the thing. That you meet a lot of
Bara
good
i
people
Jenny.
in bad situations.
Mobilabonnemang
Yeah.
obegränsad för bara 399 kronor i månaden.
I find that it's
i ett
usually the
år.
people who aren't in the
Surfa
bad
obegränsat
situation
med
who end up
blixtsnabb
being an
5G och
ass.
spara
And I
över
mean that in
2000
like
kronor.
the people who have all the power in the job, like the bosses, the managers, the supervisor. I find that if anybody is going to be an asshole in that job, it's going to be one of them. That's not to say your coworker can't be a shit, because God knows, you know, you find assholes everywhere. But more often than not, I find that that's the case. Especially if you have a boss who's like out of touch with how your job works,
Yeah.
where they're like, "How come you aren't done yet?" And like, because that's just not how this works. And they're like, "Really, you should have been done." God, I
Okay.
should have known that job was going to be not a good job, because now that I'm thinking about it, one of the first things that lady said to me when she gave me an assignment, my supervisor, was, I brought the assignment back to her, and she's like, "It took you this long to do it?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" She says, "A monkey could have done it. It's really easy." And I'm just staring at her like, "Excuse, did you just call me a monkey?" I should have looked at her and said, "Did you just call me a monkey?" And I've been like,
And
but
she's
instead,
like,
because like,
no, I'm calling you dumber than a monkey.
yeah, like, I'm like, "Excuse me, are you calling me stupid?" I really should have said that, because, you know, nobody has the right to do that. But I just been hired. I was super nervous. And, you know, it's one of those cases where you're like, oh gosh, was I supposed to be faster? Maybe I screwed it up. And like, no, even if you were supposed to be faster and you were slow, they don't have the right to fucking call you that.
Yeah. Now, insults at work, it's a thing that shouldn't be allowed anywhere. But sadly, in countries like, well, maybe Ivan can have this same situation there in the UK, because it comes from these old regime countries that basically your boss is your god, and he has the
Yeah.
right to do anything he wants, what he or she. And but in these old regime countries, it's most likely a he. They have the right to do anything they want to you. They have the right to berate you, and they not only have the right, but they have the obligation to do it.
Yeah, we had sort of like that at the last job. Like, I think I mentioned it before. One of my coworkers was pregnant when COVID hit, and she's like, "I can't in good conscience come into the office. I should work remotely." And the guys were like, "Well, we really need you in the office," even though they were almost never there, but they wanted her to be in there to ensure that she was doing as much work as possible. Which is so like low, because she was an excellent worker. She really, really was.
Yeah.
She brought in so many excellent cases for them, so really fucking rude. And when she complained about it, the woman who was my supervisor looked at her and went, "Well, it seems unfair, but we should just be grateful, because there are just so many people who don't even have a job right now. Can you imagine trying to find a new one with the pandemic going on?" And I'm sitting there like, Did you just tell a pregnant woman she should be grateful that her bosses are trying to make her come in when a disease is going around that could kill her and her baby? Are you crazy? Of course, I couldn't like really say anything because I didn't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, I really wish I had said something. I wish I would turned around. I was like that woman, that coworker was so nice. Her and my other coworker were great. I was constantly telling them like, hey, if you guys need help with like anything, let me know. And they wanted to take me up on it, even though it was my job. I was supposed to be able to assist all of them. My supervisor didn't like it if I was assisting anybody else. And she'd get really pissed off and yell at me and be like, stop bothering them. And I'm like, I'm not bothering them. I'm trying to help them with the thing they're doing. Such a terrible job. If you've got a job that's being like that to you, look for a new one. Start job hunting. That's not okay for them to be like that. You shouldn't be sacrificing your health and your free time and all that stuff to a job that is being thankless and nasty. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You don't owe them anything.
Totally.
I know what some people may say, but you really don't. Even if you just started there, you do not owe them anything. Start job hunting if they say.
And I understand that a big factor is the fear. The fear is what kept me going every day to that job.
Yeah.
And others.
Oh, it is 100% same.
Then, but the thing is, if you let that fear take control of you, it's really bad.
Yeah, it is. It makes things that much harder.
But I can understand that trying to fight that fear, it's a really scary thing on itself.
Yeah, way easier said than done. I found that it was very useful to think about it in terms of like, what if this same thing was happening to a friend I knew? Would I tell them that they were the one in the wrong, or would I tell them that what was happening to them wasn't right? And so when I gave it a bunch of thought, I was like, you know what? I would tell them that this wasn't right, that somebody shouldn't be treating them like that.
Yeah.
So I found that was easier, but you're right. The worry definitely keeps you from like going anywhere else.
And
or being like, oh, it'll just be the same no matter where I go. And
yeah, I can relate to those fears.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally see why you stay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you shouldn't feel bad if it like takes you a while to work up the courage to be like, okay, I need to look for another job. And the best thing is too, you don't even have to tell your bosses why you are looking for another job. You can lie.
Well, just don't have to say anything.
Yeah, you can just be like, oh, I got an offer, so this is my 2 weeks notice. And be like, why? And be like, it was just a very nice offer.
Well, when I switched jobs from UPS to Schenker, and my boss asked me why, I told him, I got an opportunity that has been offered to me, so I'm taking it. And you know what? He told me, yes, that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was a nice guy. Overall, he was always hard on my ass because, but in the end, we had that conversation and I thought, yes, I've received an offer, I have an opportunity, so I'll take it. And he told me, yes, that's exactly what you have to do. And I'm really thankful for him to understand my point of view.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't give you a hard time about it. Because, it's one of the rules of thumb that's kind of hard to learn, especially since, being friendly is one of the things that you're told, like, from moment one of, like, oh, you should be really friendly to people when you, like, at the place you work. But, your boss, they're not your friend. So it's none of their business, why you want to take the day off. It's like, if you have days where you can take them off, then you take them off. It's not their business as to what you're doing then at all. Or if they ask you, do you have do you have a ride to work? And you say, yeah, it's not their business to ask you what that ride is. You just say, I have a reliable ride. And you do, even if it's a bus. It's not their job, it's not any of their business to know that. And I say that because there are plenty of places that will just decide not to hire you because they don't have a car or they've got kids. I don't know if we should hire them. What if they leave early to pick a child up?
Yeah, that's an asshole.
None of their
move.
business. Yeah, it's none of their business. If your boss doesn't need to know that, don't tell them. They really only need to know that you are able to work and that you have a way to be there, and that's all they need to know. So if they're like, oh, what do you do on the weekend? That's not any of their business.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between having a casual conversation that
Oh yeah, casual conversations one
That's
thing, but if
friendly.
like during the hiring process they ask you that and be like,
well, you know, you can have a friendly conversation with the person. Oh, what do you do this weekend? Oh, I watched the game of something.
yeah, well
else,"
that's water cooler talk. But,
but, yeah,
like,
that's perfectly fine. But there's a different thing if they start judging you for doing this or that thing. You know,
mhm,
it's like, oh, you
yeah,
didn't watch the sports. I don't like you. It's like, you know what? Go to hell or something.
yeah. Or if if they, if they, I don't know, if you let slip that you've got like I don't know a second job or something, it's none of their business if you've got a second job. Not anything they need to worry about as long as it's not something that is going to interfere with what you're doing. So if you've got like a job that you work on home from the weekends, none of their business. They don't need to know. But yeah,
Yeah.
tiny rant over. Basically, if your job's being awful, go look for another one. You don't owe them shit. They owe you things. You're doing a job for them. You know?
Yeah, you're actually creating value for them.
Yeah, you're
That
creating all of the income for them. They
that
owe
is
you stuff.
worth a lot more than what they pay you.
Oh boy, yeah, is it? I guess what we're saying is union.
And you know, I'm going to start my own company in a couple months or so,
Oh,
and I'm gonna have workers, that's for sure, because I want to have a team of people with me. Simple and plain is that it's a lot of work, and I need
yeah.
hands on deck.
Mhm.
And you know, my view on unions is like, please go for it. Like, if the guys that work with me, being me the boss, they tell me, yeah, we're gonna unionize. Like, please
Okay, cool.
go ahead. I'll sign the papers that you guys need.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I'd be glad that they cared enough about the job to decide they wanted a union.
Yeah. And if you're gonna unionize, let me know. I'll join myself. You know, even being the
Our
boss.
boss is a member of our union too. Yeah. I mean, hey,
I was like,
unions very rarely do unions let people down. There's a few times. There's a few examples of unions that are shitty.
yeah. And another
Like,
thing that I'm going to encourage my workers to do is to talk about their salaries. Like, of course,
yes,
the workers will
always.
have different salaries, but it will depend on the experience they have or the job that they're doing. Because
Mhm.
you know, I'm gonna pay more someone that does something that takes more responsibility than someone that does a simpler job, just because the
Mhm.
responsibility is bigger. That's
Yeah.
why, and because they really bring something else that others don't. And over time, if they grow, if they bring more things to the table, so to speak, then of course they will get a raise. That's a
Yeah.
normal thing to do. Because
There's so many places that highly like super discourage people from talking to coworkers about that do the same job as them about the pay that they get. And you should definitely like talk with coworkers who do the same job as you
yeah,
about the pay you get.
do it. Because
they won't get mad at you if you're making more. They'll get mad at your boss. So never feel like, oh, if I say something, they're going to get pissed off and go, how come you're getting more than me? No, they're going to go to the boss and go, how come they're making more than me?
yeah.
You told me this was competitive pay. What the fuck are you doing? And then your friend will get a raise. Probably. Or everybody will get a raise. Maybe. But the point is that there's nothing bad for you.
Yeah.
If other people know what you make. It's only bad for your boss.
It's
when
only
people
bad for
find out
those that are
correctly.
keeping the information in the dark.
Oh, on a random side note, a friend of mine, as a designer says this, on a random note, a friend of mine is experiencing, I don't know how to say that, HTOL #NIQ, the Firefly Diary, for the first time. It's good if you like adorable but fucked up games.
I couldn't have read it better.
I'm sure that there's a way that is supposed to be said.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know it.
Me neither. And since we're discussing serious things, and this shouldn't concern me because I'm living in Europeland, in the land of IKEA to be precise, but I heard some news that are going on in the US.
Yeah, they overturned Roe v. Wade.
That I don't like at all.
I do not like it either.
That they're rolling back some laws about. Well, can you explain it, please? Because I'm gonna mess it up if I try to explain it.
That's okay. It's they're basically gay marriage is no longer protected, right?
Yeah.
It will be determined state by state, and many states have already declared that they will continue to protect that. But then there are other states, for example, Texas, who made today a national holiday, or a state holiday rather. They're having a holiday today because of this, and that's kind of screwed up. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of things in Texas are kind of fucked up. It's really stupid that they did this for a couple of reasons. First being that this is an election year. There are a lot of seats in the Senate that are going to be coming up. So all of the people there that were like, this is good that the court decided to do this are, their fate is in your hands. You should let them know that their support of this sort of thing will not be acceptable and that they are about to lose their jobs. So that was stupid. It's also further stupid because a poll of people, a generalized poll, showed that only 30% of citizens in the U.S. wanted that. So overwhelming minority. A 30% is not even an F on a test. So congratulations. That is a percentage lower than an F. That's not even close to half.
And I heard that this rolling back, it also affects things like abortion.
Yep, that's coming to the table too. It affects, there's actually several decisions that they're going to overturn, and I can't remember the names of all of them, but abortion rights being protected, that was voted on, and it lost 49-51.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the things that pisses me off the most, because lives depend on that.
I know.
And in the end, marriage, you can say, yeah, I don't care about marriage. I'm just gonna be together with the person I love. Whatever the paper says, I love this person. I'm gonna be with them.
To answer Dezarin's question, she says, I mean, the judicial system is completely separate, right? The other branches of government aren't involved, right? And to an extent, yeah. All three branches are supposed to work in tandem, but yes, it is the purview of the judicial branch to make this call.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that that there were plenty of people in the Senate talking about how great a thing it is that this happened, and I think it's very stupid of them to say that because their jobs are coming up for re-election in November, and we now know who thought that this was awesome that it was happening, and I think that those people should be very nervous that they're about to get not elected again. So
Yeah.
yeah, but they're all supposed to work in tandem. It's supposed to be so that no one branch has all this overwhelming power to do all this crazy shit.
Yeah,
But
that's why the division of power.
yeah, but
But
every once in a while, one is like, yeah, but I get to make this call and you can't do anything about it. And then, all the citizens whip their heads around and go, wait, you mean I don't get a say in this thing that you decided you were going to do?
Nope.
And they're like, nope. And I'm like, and then we all sit here and go, why the hell do we vote you in? And then the people from the judicial branch sashay across the screen and go, you didn't vote for me. The president put me in power. And guess what? A president can assign as many people as they want to as many judges as they want to that branch, which is what Trump did. And I know that people are like, oh, we can't sink to their level, but it further boggles my mind that Democrats are not willing to stack the Supreme Court, or not, that are not willing to stack the Supreme Court. And that may sound like a kind of dark thing to say, but if people who hate everybody already put a bunch of other fucked up people who hate everybody overwhelmingly in that branch, why have you not tried to even it out? And it's not like we don't know that they're not awful people. They've said it proudly that they're terrible people.
Yeah.
So like, and it's because they tried to turn it into a states issue. They're like, oh, well, we don't have the right to decide for all these states if it's fair to tell them that they have to let gay people get married. The state should get to decide. And I'm like, this isn't a question of like, I don't know, whether or not, like, how a state should go about collecting taxes from its people because it knows how much they make and you don't. This is about the lives and well-being of people, and you're taking that away from them. And it's not as simple as going like, well, you can still be together and not be married. And to a degree, yeah, but so many things, legally speaking, are tied to being married in the US at least. Well, I don't know about other places. Like if you're gay and your boyfriend ends up in the hospital and you're not married to them, guess who doesn't get to go in the ambulance? You don't get to. There's you can't go in on like insurance. There's some loans that are like, oh, loan because we're gonna buy a house, and they're like, so you two aren't married? No. Well, you don't qualify for this kind of insurance, and you can't do this, and you can't get that, and it's super fucked.
Yeah, well, what I was going is that marriage, in the end, is not a life or death thing, as in the abortion, because that's a life or death thing in some cases.
But, oh God, that's horrific.
But mainly, it's a decision of the person who has the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Well, it's a women have the kids, because women have the organs for that. So I'll say women, okay?
That's fine.
I know there are a bajillion genders and organs and stuff, but I know.
Yeah.
But
the people who are capable of carrying the pregnancy.
But I'll say this in all terms, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is just a woman's business. Nobody else's.
It's the business of the person that got pregnant. It is not anyone else's.
I can understand cases in which the decision can be taken from a woman. Like, for example, if this woman was in a coma and
you got to make a call.
You have to make a call, but in this case, the doctors will be the ones responsible because they're the ones trying to save lives.
Yeah.
Trying to save a life. That's the only way I can see overruling these things from the rights of the person. Or like, let's say not a coma, but let's say that this person has really serious mental issues that could endanger herself and the child.
Like they're not capable of making an informed decision.
Yes. In those cases, I can see the right being taken from them. Yes. But otherwise...
because it's an exception.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's just a woman's business. It's their body. It's a choice.
Exactly. And it's here's the thing that is stupid that I really wish conservative chuckle fucks would figure out. And sorry for my language. This isn't just, it is currently specifically about abortions, but it's not about just that. This is taking away bodily autonomy of an individual. And I don't think many people cheering happily for that really understand what that means. That means that there is now a precedent in the future for taking bodily autonomy away from other people for other reasons. For example, let's say you're in surgery for some unrelated something. I don't know, you're having your appendix out. You wake up and you're a lot sorer than you thought you'd be. And you ask the doctor why that is, and they say, oh, we took one of your kidneys. And you're like, what? You took my kidney? Well, yeah, we had somebody who really needed a kidney, and you'll live without the kidney. So, we're only having the one, so we took it. There is now a precedent for that, because you have now decided that some lives are worth more than others. And that is a very slippery slope that I think a lot of people who cheered happily for this did not figure out. This means that there is also a precedent for, say, somebody's in a coma, their liver's not working. You've got a working liver, you are now filtering their blood. You can't go anywhere. You have to be here now, because if we detach you, that person will die. You don't get a say no mo. Oops. Like, it currently it's just that one thing, but it can very easily spiral out of control because there is now a precedent for it. And to quote many people on YouTube who've discussed this and probably could say it better than me, people who talk about it being a pro-life thing are full of shit.
Yeah.
They don't believe that in the slightest. And you know how I know? Because if they were in, oh gosh, everybody uses a different disaster, but I'd say, let's say that you're walking it along and you see a train coming, and on the tracks, and you only have time to grab one of them, is a crying infant and a petri dish of 3 fertilized eggs. Which one are you going to pick up? None of them are going to say the petri dish. Like, none of them are. Nobody would, because you'd be insane. Because those things are not people yet. They're just tiny clusters of cells, but that's a crying, screaming human baby.
Yeah.
So it's not about that at all. It's about being able to control somebody else's body.
No, imagine the future is always scarier. Imagine now that it's not just a doctor that says, we had to save someone's life, so we took an organ from you that you can live without.
Yeah.
Like a kidney. I know it's really extreme, but still, you can survive.
Yeah.
Even barely. But imagine now that it's a company that has the rights on your organs for X reason.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, it could.
They decide you know what? We're taking the organs from you.
Yeah, it could be a case of like, oh, well, the CEO has a lot of money. They're considered more valuable than your grandpa. So we took your grandpa's heart. That means your grandpa's dead now. But that means the president of this very wealthy company gets to live and continue making money, which was more valuable than what your grandpa was doing. It sounds
Charge
crazy.
complete.
That sounds like something from a horror movie, but that's the precise precedent that this decision sets up.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that people who were happy about it have not considered.
Or imagine if they decide to, for example, force someone that wanted to have an abortion to keep having the baby to a certain stage and then remove the baby.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, you forfeited the right to choose about your body and whatever grows in it.
Yeah.
So we are gonna have you tied to this bed. You're gonna grow the baby as much as we want, and then we'll take it and use it for whatever we want.
Yeah. And because you were thinking of aborting the baby, not only do you not get to keep it, you're also going to jail.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we're going to snip your ovaries. You will never have children now because we've decided you can't be responsible because baby life was more important than yours. Like it's like that sounds insane, but that is now a thing that could technically be considered because it has now been it's been determined that one life is now more important than another. And that has always been a heartbreaking decision that any medical professionals ever had to make if they've ever been in an emergency. Like hell, you'll see it on medical shows where they'll be like, oh my god, there's been a major accident and now triage is happening and none of us are happy because it means we now have to decide who lives and who dies, and nobody wants to do that. And guess what? Now somebody can just legally decide that, and not even in a life or death situation. They can just decide.
Yeah.
So now you have a bunch of fucking sociopaths because nobody wants to make that decision. No one who's sane. Or hell, now you've got this decision being made by people who aren't medical professionals, just people who are pretty sure that the thing that they believe created the universe told somebody that it was bad.
Or
they're not even positive that it's bad. They're just pretty sure that the dude who held up the book and said it's bad had a good idea.
Or even worse, the people that paid him.
Yeah. So
it's like, X company says that you're a bad person for thinking that or liking that post on Instagram, so your organs are mine.
Yep. We've come up with a completely arbitrary reason to decide that we want to do this. Why? Because we just decided we want to. Because you're not a person, you are cattle. God, I forget who it was, but there was actually some asshole in the Senate who did refer to working people as livestock when they were talking about whether or not people should go back to work after during COVID. He referred to working citizens as livestock. I love that star. It's so cute like that.
Thank you. I'm trying to fix some issues that I'm having with the.
I can get it. Is it the? Yeah.
It's just the Boolean being a bit non-cooperative, let's say it like that.
So, but yeah, big angry rant over. It's fucked up and stupid, and I hope that there is something we can do to try and reinstate it. I'm very happy to see that my state, at least, was like, nah, we're going to continue protecting that because we know who lives here, and we know that we'd be completely fucked if we took that away from you because you'd all riot.
Yeah.
All the states that are like, oh, hold on a minute, this is a bad idea.
But I find it scary, for example, in countries that are not these states. Like, we have countries that are really backwards here in Europe. Like the old Soviet countries, like Belarus, for example, they have a dictator that literally, if you take a picture in which the president doesn't look good, you're going to jail. Lukashenko.
Sounds crazy, but that's like the shit that really does happen.
Yeah, and things like that. The guy has been in power for over 25 years, and he was the one responsible for the waves of immigration in Europe because literally he caused them. It's
because nobody in their right mind would want to stay in a place where that could happen to them.
No, it's because the European Union told Lukashenko, you know what, you cannot be a dictator like that. You all gonna have to fuck off. And he said, oh, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna just swamp Europe with immigrants, drugs, alcohol, and just weapons. You'll see. And he did. He ran campaigns of advertisement in Syria or other Middle Eastern countries that were in conflict or about to be in conflict. The government sponsored flights so they could fly really cheap to Belarus, and once they were there, he didn't allow them to go back to their countries once they
Mhm.
realized, oh, this is a trap. We have been trapped here. He
Can't do
just
anything
used
about
the army to push the immigrants out of the borders into other countries that like Poland, and they told them, yeah, you know what? Go to Germany. They're handing over money to everyone. Just go there. But if you stay here, we'll shoot you on sight.
it. They're like, hold on a minute, you're the one who told me I couldn't leave. I was trying to leave. This was just supposed to be a stop. And he's like, ha ha ha, I
Yeah.
tricked you.
And he did it. And
And they're like, what are you, a Batman villain? And he went, yes.
Lukashenko, it's a terrible dictator.
That's awful.
Well, honestly, I haven't seen a good dictator yet. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't really think that by virtue of being called a dictator that's ever good.
Who
They're like,
knows?
wow, our
Maybe
dictator's
one
great.
dictator in the future will surprise me and be good. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But
Yeah, we love our dictator, and I mean that genuinely.
but
And not
nowadays
not
they
because-
prefer to be called community managers instead of dictators.
yeah, it's like, oh no, I'm not a dictator of this country. I'm
No,
the
but
manager.
imagine if you have countries that have people like that in charge.
Mhm.
What laws will they push? What things will they
Ones that
allow
are
to happen?
completely psychotic.
Yeah.
Like what? Like oh my gosh, it's. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's North Korea where it's like if you have a haircut that isn't on the approved list of haircuts, you get in like you can go to jail. I know that China's got a big to do where it's like, you know, if we catch you making fun of whoever, like making fun of the leader of our country, you're going to jail for like forever.
Yes and no. I have a few friends over China
Mhm.
that are Westerners, and
I'm glad they're
It's-
not having a bad time there.
it's a bit complicated, of course.
Mhm.
They still have the thought police, but it's not everywhere. Like
Oh my
not
God.
everywhere in China is strict. You have to go with the party and what the party says, and Xi Jinping is God. No, it's not like
Yeah.
that.
I think Hong Kong is pretty decent.
Actually, most of the country it's quite open, but
That's it.
China is so big.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It's probably one of the
so big,
largest.
so big.
nations.
That there are lots of regions that still have not a big chunk of the population, but they hold a lot of resources because they're really scattered. Like the
Yeah.
populations over China, they are really concentrated close to Beijing, close to that
Yeah.
side, and because there have been massive waves of immigration from people that they didn't want to stay in the countryside because they said, you know what, the countryside is dying. I want to work, I want to eat and stay alive. So they went to the cities, and there was a lot of massification. But these massifications led to people being more open-minded because they had to be next to each other, and they saw that the government lies through. But the people that were still in the countryside, they were fed by the government. They were taken
Yeah.
care of by the government because the government knew that if they don't have anyone producing grains, well, they will have nothing to eat. So
Mhm.
they kept those in that quite tight leash or short leash.
That's
And
really
yeah, there are still places that the party is God and you do whatever they say, and
Mhm.
because they are the best. And there's people that think that way because it has been positive for them, or they have seen really bad examples of others going against. Oh, you
Yeah,
know
or
what
they-
happened to the neighbor? Yeah, he just disappeared.
Yeah, and I mean they only know what what they get told. If
Yeah.
if they're told like, oh, it's like this everywhere, then they'll
So-
probably believe it because they've never been shown otherwise.
So yeah, it's like everything. It's complicated. So
Yeah.
it's easy to generalize and say, yeah, China bad, everything bad. It's like No, government bad. Yes, people.
Yeah.
They're still good people.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sure. And when I refer to a country, I'm always usually referring to their government.
Yeah.
When I say like, oh, you know, X place does bad thing, I'm referring to their government.
Like,
It's almost never their people are okay with that kind of thing. Although every once in a while,
like
Dezarin says if anybody's interested in leaving the U.S., we could really use more people up here in Canada.
you
I
know,
mean, my boyfriend and I do want to move to Canada eventually.
well, you're
That's been like a big goal.
well. I don't want to say where you live because reasons, but
Yeah.
you were not that far from Canada. Am I right?
Nope. No,
So-
I don't live very far away from it at all.
Like I heard
It's a
that
while to get
Detroit,
there,
for
but not
example, it's in the border with Canada, and
Mhm.
people cross all the time.
Actually, one of my friends just got. He didn't originally live in Canada, but he does now, and he just got. Approved to be a permanent resident.
Ooh,
Not a citizen yet, but he is allowed as a permanent resident there, so that's awesome.
it is. It is.
We were super excited when he told us. He's like, I got my certificate. It's right here in writing. I live here now. I'm like, yay!
You know, for quite some time, I was considering going to Canada to live there because there's so many game studios
Yeah,
that I
that
was
was one
thinking.
of the reasons we were looking at it too.
It's like, yeah, you know, I'd love to work in a game studio, even though it's a job at the end of the day. You know, and jobs are not perfect, but still beats pushing packages every day. So yeah, for a while I was thinking about going to, I don't know, Edmonton, for example. I heard they have a lot of
Yeah,
studios
it's
there,
got a lot.
and I don't know. Canada sounds good to me, at least. I know someone who will live there with them. Oh no, it's horrible because this and that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Creature from the forest will eat you alive, or something like that.
It is the land of the Wendigo.
When
And
did
the
it go?
moose.
I don't know, but it went.
But it did.
Sorry for the.
I know
terrible
that
joke.
I know that the country's not perfect. I don't think any country is, but it a lot of the time does seem like it's set up a bit better than a lot of other places. So
Yeah. And at the end of the day, countries are the countries. You have to leave
Mhm.
the place where you are not happy and go
you
somewhere
go to a place where
where
you
you
feel
can
you'll be
leave.
more happy. Yeah, and if you're not happy there, you can plan to move in.
Yeah.
It's again easier said than done. It is a bit of a process to
It
you know,
is.
to move.
It
away.
is. Especially if you do things legally, it takes. It takes a lot.
Yeah, but you know the fact of the matter is just that if you don't feel happy in a place that you are, you know, whether that's, you know, a living place or a workplace or a relationship place, you know, if you're not happy with something, it is never too late to change that thing. And again, easier said than done, but you can always sit down and be like, all right, if I want to do this thing, if I want to go to this place, if I want this job, you know, how do I do it? And we have the internet, we have the whole of human knowledge in our pocket. You can look it up. If
Yes,
you're like,
we
okay,
do.
well, I want to get into, I'm going to pull a random job out of my hat, landscaping. I want to get into landscaping. I like working outside. I like all these plants. How does one set up or join a landscaping business? And you can just Google that exact sentence and you will get an answer. Somebody will respond. Somebody somewhere also asked that question and somebody answered it. So, if you're like, how do I get into X industry? You will get plethoras of advice. And you can just take it like one step at a time. Desarin says, I know the job that I would like, as unlikely as it is. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, success is different in each field, and some of it takes time. But I'm fully confident that people can probably get to a place where they're satisfied if they take it a little bit at a time and understand what they're getting into, you know? And you can look into things that are tangentially related, as you know, at the time. Like, I would love it if I could just make enough to live off my Patreon and like not have to get a job somewhere else. Like I could just do kind of whatever creative thing I wanted to every day. That would be awesome. I don't think that's going to happen, at least not anytime soon. So, right now
No,
I
but
can't. But I can look for.
But you're still
sorry.
working towards it, right?
Yeah, but I can, and I can get jobs in places like, I can apply for. That's actually one of the things this model is for the portfolio, for the big folio.
Yeah.
I can apply for jobs in like a gaming or animation industry, doing concept art or storyboards or stuff like that I enjoy doing. So there's stuff I can do to be able to flex the points of my creativity that I enjoy, and then little by little work my way to a place where I eventually can put all that down and go, and now I'm just going to do this. As Aaron says, I might not understand what I'm getting into, but I do know that this dream job allows me to actually feel like me. Well, okay, I mean, I half know after 8 years, but you get what I mean. And yes, I do. I do.
Yeah, it's important to be at peace with yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
and that should just be your number one priority, really.
because that's, at least for me personally, that's what led me into this depression. That I just felt terrible with myself. I hated myself a lot. Because I was thinking, I'm getting awards, I'm getting recommendations at jobs that I hate.
Yeah.
I'm doing things that I hate, and I'm doing them so well that I'm raising the standards of a whole region of 4 countries. So what's wrong with me? I could do something else that I like, and I could be good at it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was feeling like I was wasting away my potential. It's like, I can do this thing for others. Why can't I do this thing for myself? And
Yeah,
I just
that's
couldn't get over that. It was,
Yeah, I get that. I was looking at that feeling. Zarn says, my primary money-making job I can at least tolerate. Yeah. And that's another thing to keep in mind too, is just if you have to stay in a place that you don't like for a time while you're trying to get somewhere else, that's okay. Like I said, like it's not going to happen overnight. Yeah, and it can always be like way worse.
it's
So
okay
if you have
if
to
it's
tough it out for a little,
a temporary thing.
Yeah.
It's
if it's temporary, it's okay to help it.
it's fine. We all had to do things that we don't like for a while, but that's not what defines you. That's not your life.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you can never go anywhere else. It just means that for this precise moment, you have to be somewhere that you're not happy about. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a thing that you can put up with for a little bit, then that's okay.
Never stop dreaming, guys. No, never stop.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, let's make this boots thicker.
In the immortal words of one Shia LaBeouf, just do it! I even did the hand gesture. Nobody can see it, but I did in fact do it.
Well, I could feel it through the mic.
Yeah, that's good. Dezarin says that I can say most of the people I work with are nice, so that makes it all right. And yeah, as long as you've got nice people to work with, you can put up with a shit job for as long as is needed before you're able to vamoose to the one that's better.
But at the same time, don't feel obligated because of these people, because they don't want you to be unhappy if they're your friends,
Yeah, if you have the ability to go, don't feel obligated to stay just because the people there are nice. They would want you to be able to go somewhere that makes you happy if they are nice. So.
Yeah. It's great to have nice people at work. It's really great.
Yeah. And if it was one of your coworkers who was nice, that was like, oh, I don't know if I should go.
But you know what's nicer? If you get a better job, and you have the chance to bring someone or uplift them or open an opportunity for them, that's even better.
Oh, that is so much better. That happened to some of the people who used to work at the place that my friend used to work at. I don't remember what it was he was doing. It's not important. But the stuff did not go great. The company did not go great. And so a bunch of people started leaving, and a few of them were like, "Hey, you're really talented. I told the place I'm working at now about that. They want to hire you to come with me." And they did. they took the other talented people with them, and they left. So it happens.
I think that's great.
Oh my goodness! It got even hotter outside. It's 83 Fahrenheit right now. Let me convert that into.
Yes, please. I was going to ask you. Could you do the conversion for me?
83.
Thank you. I know I should know how to convert these things, but
28.3 repeating Celsius.
Ooh. Yeah, 28 degrees. That's getting toasty. Yeah.
Toasty.
Because anything that it's closer to human body temperature, it's not that bearable for humans.
Yeah. In Fahrenheit, a human body temperature is 98.6. So while this is not up there, it is getting close. Yeah. And the human body does not like when things are about the same temperature as it is. It gets very upset.
Yeah.
Especially, you think it would be happy, but
especially
it's not.
for men. And when I say men, I say people that have testicles, okay?
Yeah.
It's not that I'm trying to be disrespectful or anything. No, it's just it's a biological thing that happens to you. If you have testicles dangling, they actually have to be a degree or a couple degrees lower, because that's the temperature that they need. But when it gets too hot, oh boy, they just run for it. It's like, woof! They just extend the sails. Literally, that's what they do. They extend the sails to cool down. But at the same time,
you're just sitting there being like, "How the hell do I get out of my chair without hurting myself?"
And well, that and you feel them so warm. It's like, are my tastes boiling or something? Because they are so sensitive that you feel any temperature change or any texture change, anything. You really feel it. Like, come on. Like, come on, buddy. I know they are important, but I could go with a couple filters of sensitivity.
Desarin says, "Don't worry, CC. Someday you'll be live, and your voice will be coming out of sus.e. Lol." I could make, maybe for Halloween I'll do a little PNG tuber and then do like a little voice mod so that I talk, a little squeaky alien voice, and that'll be the voice for stuff. Because the monsters in Monsters don't talk, really. I have some of them that make sounds that sound like words, but they don't talk. So I imagine Sus having like one of those modulated little giggles. Where it's like slightly echoey, it's got that like slight sci-fi tone on it. And I imagine that she laughs all the time. But I could probably get
okay, can you giggle on cue?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's do the washing machine frame or window.
Yay! Time to do the tummy window.
Shift S, cursor to selected.
Well, really, this is more of a chest window, but there's actually a fashion.
Okay.
Accoutrement that's
You're
like
telling me that this thing it's a boob window?
It could be a boob window. She doesn't have boobs, but it could be a boob window. Well, oh no! If the comic ever gets popular, there's going to be artists who are like, I drew Sus, but if she was a big boob sexy lady, and then that will be a boob window, and I'll be sitting there going, I'm happy because fan art, but I'm also depressed. Yay, but also no. And I'll be like, fuck, I can't stop them, whatever, free advertising. And then I'll move on with my life. Dezarin says agrees with the statement that it's a boob window and says it's just the word boob inside the window.
Oh, that would be a great T-shirt.
That would be a great T-shirt.
Speaking of
It
these
looks
things,
like it's got a boob window, but it just says.
since you're a 2D artist, you can actually do this thing. There are websites that offer the service to create merchandising for you.
Yeah.
Of course, they take a big cut, but still, they manage everything.
Yeah.
They do the production, they do the shipping, they do the taxes, everything. So you just get the money. So it's called Printify with a Y at the end. Check it out.
Yeah, there's a couple places I've been checking out that I've been considering, like it's those places where it's like, all right, if I had a decent amount of followers, these are the places that I would be like, look, art. Dezarin says, I'd be lying if I said my outfit didn't kind of have a boob window. I mean, if I want to get technical, it's almost like I have boob curtains. Yes! I actually kind of get what you're talking about.
Okay, boob curtains, are you telling me they're sagging so much? Damn it.
No, it's like... it's like a piece of fabric that's like framing them, and you can see the skin in between. It's like, look, I have curtains.
I know. It's
I
just,
shall pull them clothes.
just an old joke, Like it's an old Spanish joke.
Oh
What did the old woman say when she took off her bra? Oh, the floor is so cold.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah.
I know, terrible old joke, but still.
It's still funny though.
Still funny, yeah.
Sometimes a joke is funnier because it is terrible. That's why some puns are super good.
Yeah.
If the pun doesn't make people go, oh, then it wasn't a good pun. You have to leave people going, oh my god.
Like, oh, you made me laugh. I hate myself for it.
It's one of those thanks, I hate it. Dezarin says, my outfit is sort of tuxedo-ish, but the center line from just below the neckline to just under the belly button is bare. It's just a straight line down, and it's fully visible. Ah.
Oh, people have some
cool.
sexy clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my
cool.
clothes. My clothes are the cheapest ones I can get.
Yeah,
So I'm not
some of mine are. I
fashionable
have some
at
that
all.
are a little fancy, but most of mine are just cash. Like right now, I've got on. Oh no, I'm wearing a pair of red cotton shorts, and I've got a black T-shirt that I got from Tea Turtle, and it's called the Lord of the Forest, and it's got a big deer, but instead of antlers, or where his antlers are, they're like big tree branches.
Come on, Alex. I was trying to keep this safe for work. Now I can't.
Oh no!
Yeah. We're starting those conversations. Okay, what are you wearing?
Pants. Ah! And a T-shirt. Scandalous. And socks? What about socks? Yes.
You're telling me your elbows are showing?
Can people see your ankles? No. Oh!
I remember when and it was the beginnings of internet dating. It was always these conversations. People like, oh, what are you wearing? And this, what's your hairstyle? And blah blah blah. It's like,
and the best thing is that you can lie.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I was naive and I didn't lie. I was telling what I was wearing. It's like, yeah, it's a.
You're like, oh, T-shirt and khakis.
It's like white T-shirt and blue jeans and sneakers. Like, oh,
Oh, that's it. I
Like-
mean, you wanted to know. Is that?
It's like,
That's not very sexy. Sorry. What?
but yeah, for me it was like that. It was like, oh yeah, dumped, or rather the connection lost. You know.
Oh, I see. Desarin sent me a PNG. It's her VTuber design. I see. She says, like I said, boob curtains and ankles showing. I
Ooh,
see.
We have a wild one.
Yes. She said in chat, I have an artist who's very free with their designs and they know what I like, lol.
Okay, I need
That's
to-
fantastic.
Yeah. That. Okay. And here's the new boop window.
You should drop your stream info in here too, Desarin, so that I can follow you.
Yes, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Because
do it,
that's
do
a
it.
thing that I didn't do until I started streaming on Twitch because I didn't ever bother streaming.
And you know,
because-
after the Sarin shares the info, you have to do it too. You have to share your socials again,
Required. Okay.
so people can find you.
Desarin says he's also kind of my boyfriend, so he refuses to let me pay him. I completely get that too.
I mean,
I've had
you
I've
can,
had friends who are like that.
you can pay, but money doesn't have to be involved.
That's true.
You know,
treat.
everybody needs someone killed at certain points. So
Everybody needs help burying a body. Sometimes. You know.
sometimes it's more than
For-
one. You know,
For
it's,
strictly legal reasons.
it's hard to do it if you're just one person. Just saying, you know. So you can always offer that.
I've had friends too who are like, oh, Zarzarn says I make up for it with random gifts that he then gets mad about.
Like,
Yeah, I've had friends who have been like, oh, I'll give you a discount when I've asked them for like a streaming thing, and I'm like, no. What do you mean no? No, I'm gonna pay you. And I'm gonna tip you too.
and you're gonna enjoy it.
And you'll be happy, god damn it.
Okay, how's that new window looking?
Ooh, I like. Look at that little porthole
Yeah, just let me.
that you
do-
probably wouldn't have a good time looking into if you tried. It would probably end poorly, as most things often do with the critters that I make.
Let me do one thing, real quick. Stand there. Material. Field object. And now let's go a bit darker. Too clear.
Why am I failing to?
Oh no, I don't want.
Oh, you have permission to post it in the chat, yeah.
Yeah.
Please post it in chat, Desarin. You are more than welcome to.
Even though it's my stream, I should say that.
I requested it, and as a guest on the stream, I have at least a tiny bit of clout.
No,
My
but
God.
I really appreciate it if you share.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Here's all my stuff. I will be right back. I really gotta use the bathroom.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
Oh.
Do it. And when you come back, I'll have a surprise for you. Okay, so that's that. RGB. Get rid of that. Okay. Okay, let's see. No, don't stop. Come on. Don't you dare stop now. I want you to sure stop, damn it. Okay. So this is like a flap. Okay, go back to basics. Yeah, I can do this here. And just add loop cut there. And then I can see. I think it's gonna be easier to just scale now. Okay, I see, that's the problem. This is this shape. Okay. Okay, I need to redo this. I need a cube. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's do it here. Okay. S, Y. Like that. Yeah, that's square-ish. Then I can add the cuts that I need. Yeah, that's for the cuts I need. Because I need this shape. Stay like that. Let's see. No, I can actually do this faster. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Well, just share everything. Don't keep anything to yourself. Come on, it's free exposure. Normally you have to pay for this stuff on DeviantArt. Okay, let's do bevel. Let's do a bevel 3 and 0.25. Yeah, that's about good. Now let's do subdivision surface to.
Back.
Welcome back.
Just a heads up, in about 10 minutes I have to go and figure out what food is going to be.
Okay, that's fine. That you're abandoning me. Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. If only I didn't have to eat.
Well,
only I didn't enjoy eating so much.
Well, it's not like you're pushed to eat or something, you know, like that, you know.
Med marginalen bank ökar så att du snabbare kan nå dina mål. Så,
Okay, what was I doing? Oh, okay. I was.
Let's see. Dazarin posted all of her stuff too,
Yeah.
which is good. Go check her out. She's funny.
Gör målet möjligt med marginalen
And
på
follow.
din sida.
Boop.
Se hur på marginalen.se.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I like that it says while Dazarin is offline, check this out, and it shows me your stream. Probably because I'm watching it, so it's just plopping it over the other screens I'm on. But I did a double take. I was like, wait a minute, that. Oh. Dazarin says, I'm not an artist, just a content creator and lover of horror. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to know all the different arts.
Okay.
Oh, Dazarin is hosting this on her channel. Oh, thank you. That's why I saw it. It's being hosted.
Oh. Come on.
Oh. Oh my goodness, thank you.
No, you shouldn't do that.
That's so kind. Oh my god.
Okay, let's see.
I love that this site lets you do that.
Oh yeah.
There's something delightful about that. Woo, sorry for the odd.
Okay, let's say something like that.
I need to figure out what
Okay.
Twitch's policy on certain kinds of art are, because then I could put my 18 plus art
Yeah.
on streams. I know that they're fickle because I've seen some stuff that I'm like, clearly that's adult.
Yeah.
And then other things that aren't that get flagged. So I'm like, what's his policy?
As long as you don't show nipple, it's fine.
No female presenting.
Yeah. Because I had some anatomy stuff that had breasts that they were just a shape. There was no nipple visible, and people were complaining. Like, the fuck.
That's silly.
Okay, let's see. How is this looking overall for the back on the side? So I made the lead come out.
Oops. Ooh. Oh, I like that. I like this cute little space bag.
Yeah, we have the star here then.
Mhm.
And this is sort of like, you know, you would pull it and it opens like that.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take this line to be more rounded.
Oh. I can just hear it making like a little hydraulic click and hiss when you pick up the flap.
Okay.
Zorn says, I did get to have a small, odd conversation with a viewer about, well, trying to explain the difference between a nightmare and an abomination. It was weird. Yeah, one of my other friends had a strange conversation with a viewer, predominantly one that did not want to accept when she said, I have a boyfriend. They responded with, well, then dump him. And she was like, excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah, I told her, she's like, I don't want to like have to stop my stream or anything. She's like, I don't know what really to do if he comes back. I don't want like to turn this into a confrontation or nothing. And I was like, you know what you should do?
Just ban
Tell
his
him-
ass.
Yeah, like first of all, ban him. And like if he comes back and he's a pain and you want him to leave without having to ban him and all of that, just tell him that you won't date him unless he's taller than 6'4". And when I said that, my boyfriend was in the call and he started laughing and he goes, Jesus, that's even taller than me. And I'm like, I know, that's why I said it. It's an impossible height. And because he strikes me as one of those incel types, it'll probably make him really mad and then he'll leave. Because for some reason, I don't know, some people have got it in their heads that girls only want to date really tall dudes.
Well,
Most girls I know do care, so...
I have seen a lot of girls on Instagram, on the Reels. That are,
being like, oh, if you're not over 6 feet, don't even talk to me.
I've seen,
Yeah.
I've seen quite a lot of that.
most girls I know don't give a flying shit.
Yeah, I
They
know.
just care about your personality.
Real,
They want to
real,
make sure you're not a dick.
real people don't care, but this is not real people. This is people that live on social media.
Yeah, Instagram people aren't real.
Yeah.
At least the person that they put forth on the site is not real.
Yeah, it's messed up. Okay.
And you are correct, Azarin. That is a whole new level of entitlement. And unfortunately, she is not the first girl who will get harassed like that, and she'll not be the last. Yeah, it's like a lot more. Thankfully, it's not happened to me,
You know,
but it is a lot more common.
A comment I really hate is when guys say, "Oh, you're a lesbian. What a shame." Like, dude.
Oh, too bad for me. Okay, yeah,
It's like,
I guess.
first,
bye.
dude, you never had a chance.
Yeah, even if they weren't a lesbian, you probably didn't have a chance with that mindset. They would pick up on the stank you're putting down immediately and be like, no.
And now the rest of us don't have a chance either because, women are just going to think, oh, all guys are like that. It's like,
It's like, yeah, congratulations, you have thrown your entire gender under a bus. I hope you're happy.
Yeah.
Because now every time she meets another guy, the first thought in her head is going to wonder if they're going to be like you.
Yeah.
The first thought is, man, I hope he's not going to be like that one guy.
Thanks, dude.
And then, oh, thank God, he's not like that one guy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't blame her for thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those.
Yeah. My friend is very, very kind, and she doesn't like the idea of like starting like fights or being mean or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure that after this she'll just put it behind her and be like, fuck it.
Yeah,
Screw
but,
that guy. Goodbye.
It's a bad experience.
Yeah, it sucks that she even had to have that experience in the first place. 100%. So, I'm glad she didn't. That he eventually took off. I hope he doesn't come back.
And export. Now let's go back.
And I hope that nobody else here has to experience that. I hope that I don't have to experience that. That is a pain in the ass, and nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody. But
Okay. Let's see.
but yeah.
So, since you have to go now, then I can show you a thing
Yes.
I had for you. So I promise you a surprise.
Mm.
Okay, are you ready?
Yay. Oh my god. Yes. Amazing.
And I forgot to disable the symmetry, so
I like it like that though. That's funny.
it's one of those happy accidents, right?
Yes. It that's the best thing to happen in art. It's like I didn't intend that, but that's funny. I'm gonna keep it that way. Fantastic.
You heard it first here, guys, and she's gonna have merchandise with the boot window shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Desarin says, funnily enough, I knew a guy back in Cali that was like 6'5". The thought was interesting in my 5'10", 5'11" head, lol. I sit in this weird position where I'd be bothered, but my wanting acceptance in a very specific way would be at the back of my mind. It is a lovely piece of satire against the trope. That's funny. If I did have enough people who liked that, I probably would make it into a shirt and sell it from somewhere.
Going back to this tall or not tall, you can have your own preferences, and
Yeah,
you
everybody
shouldn't
has personal.
feel bad for not being into certain thing,
Mhm.
because come on, we're not perfect, we are not
Yeah.
in love with everything under the sun and above it or to the left. No, we have our preferences because we have them. So
Yeah,
if you're
and you
into
can't help what you like or what you don't. You shouldn't let people believe.
if you are into some things, good. If you are not into some other things, that's good too. It's That's variety.
And the only thing you're required to do is that if you see that that something you don't like, just don't go ew, you're gross, because then you're being a dick. But other than that, who cares?
Oh well,
You like what you like.
I had that experience when I was
No.
well more than once because
Ooh.
well when I was 18, 19, I used to go out a lot with my friends because let's face it, I wasn't the pretty one. I was the ugly one, but the one that had a driving license and could drive into the other cities. So I drove them. They paid for the gas, and since I wasn't used to drink, I didn't drink. So I just got a lot of sodas every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I was the professional ugly guy. So, when groups of guys go out and find groups of girls, pairings done based on who's the dominant guy, who's the pretty girl. You know how that works. So
yeah, that's
the
dumb. I hate when people are like that.
the guy that doesn't drink, that is stuck in a corner, gets stuck with whoever's left, right? That was me. And there was this girl that, honestly, she wasn't that pretty. Just in fairness, she had a bit of a thick mustache. And she was pissed off talking to me. It's like, I just don't want to talk to you. It's like, okay, what did I do to you?
You're
It's
like, that's great. You are not obligated to.
It's like,
Goodbye.
okay, well, what did I do to you to open with that? It's like, oh, because I got stuck with the ugly one. It's like, well,
Wow, thanks.
well, all the pretty ones are dancing there, so I guess we are stuck with the ugly ones. She got really mad. She got really, really mad. It's like,
I mean, in that case, in that situation, I can't say I feel sorry for her because she opened by being an asshole. So if you look back and go, you're like, well, the other one's all paired up. I wonder what that means then.
yeah, it's like, come on, you said I'm ugly. I have the right to say this thing to you. And well, she got really mad, and I told her, but we could just have a conversation. We could talk. And she's like, I didn't come here to have a conversation. I come here to just make out with someone. It's like, I told her, well, with that attitude, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're walking around talking to people like that, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't know. So, and it's like she was calling me, you don't even drink. It's like, is that even a problem? Because I have to drive. That's why I don't drink. It's like, oh, that's because you're weak and blah blah. It's like, here we go
because
again.
you're smart and don't feel like crashing all your friends into a tree. But glad to have met somebody as mean as you.
And I had other cases. The girl was pretty, and at least in Spain, if the girls are pretty, they know their value, so to speak. So there's like this class going that you have. Pretty people go only with pretty people, and the rest they have to, mingle and just stratify that way.
How very high school of them.
Pretty much. But it's that kind of environment. That's what people go after in at the disco or nightclubs like that. It's that kind of environment. So it's the only place for that. So there was this girl that she was actually looking nice, and I talked to her before my friends because I know if they're gonna see her, they're just gonna get out of the way. She's mine. It's like, oh, I'll just throw my shot first. So I go talk to her, and there was this moment. Hey, how are you doing? And it's like, you come here often. The classic openings.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at me up and down, and she says, not with you, ugly thing, but in Spanish.
Wow, she could have just said no.
Worst part for me was the up and down look and the looking on her face. That is like, you filthy peasant. Something like that. Like,
who are you and how dare you speak to me?
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
oh,
Pretty much.
okay then.
It was like that. And but she said it in Spanish, and it was a meme around that time.
Bara i juni.
The
Jular var
one
dörren
guy
begränsad för
commented
bara
that
399
a girl
kronor i
rejected
månaden
him,
i ett
telling
helt
him
år. Surfa
exactly the
obegränsat
words in
med
Spanish is
blixtsnabb 5G och
contigo no
spara
bicho.
över
That means
2000
not
kronor.
with you,
Beställ
bug.
på Tele2.se
Like
eller ring 90
like a
111.
cockroach or something like that.
Tele2.
So
Discern
not
says I already want to smack her.
not
Agreed.
not with you, cockroach. So that will be the equivalent. So she looks up and down at me and she spits me that. Like, okay.
Rude. So rude. Didn't have to be. Came out tonight and chose to be a bitch.
Yeah, well, I had worse. I had
Oh, you
worse.
shouldn't have to.
And I'll let you go just at the end of the story. I promise it's gonna be short.
It's okay.
No, of course, group of friends. There's always the friend that is the ladies' man. He can get laid with anyone he wants, and how the legends work. So this guy was sort of dating this girl that we met her often, and the group of friends. So we sort of became half of friends. The groups, I mean. Just oh, it's you guys. Oh, you guys again. So Okay, so the guy is sort of dating this girl, and that night he was just making out with another girl. He met another girl that was prettier, so he went away from the club with her to make out or do other stuff in a back alley. And the girl is really mad, looking for him. Like, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Asking her, oh, where's this guy? Have you seen this guy? Like, she asked me the first time. I was like, I don't know. I don't see him here. But I know because I saw them together. It's like, yeah, put two and two together. That's gonna happen. And this goes for like 45 minutes, and she's really mad. Going, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Calling him, he doesn't pick up the phone. So she looks at me. It's like, you know where he is. You're just not telling me. It's like, you know what? Actually, I don't know where he is, but knowing him,
I can help you find him.
knowing him, he's gonna be in the back alley with the brunette girl that we saw in the beginning of the night. And she got really pissed off. She kicked me in the balls, and she
Ooh.
screams, "Why did you say that to me?"
Because you wanted to know where he is, and I told you. I
Yep.
told you weren't gonna like it.
And yeah. And
What an
That's-
ass. Oh my god.
that's when I decided, yeah, this nightlife, it's not for me. I will not go out anymore.
And I'm like, I don't want to be around these people. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was my sad story about trying to
I'm sorry that happened. That
trying to
sucks.
get some. Some other days I will tell you my sad stories about dating that are quite short too.
Only if you want to. I don't want to make you talk about stuff that like
Oh
is
no,
embarrassing.
no,
for you.
it's not embarrassing. Actually, it's ridiculous and funny because I just went on a date once.
Mhm.
I asked a girl I found in a traffic light while I was in the car. It's like, oh, I like your helmet. Blah blah blah. We struck a conversation. It the time of a red light. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna be working today, but tomorrow I'm off. So we could meet at that place. Oh, I know that place because I work close there. So yeah, man, we're both off tomorrow. So why don't we meet? Okay, so we go on sort of a date for like 30 minutes. And she tells me, oh, I'm hungry. We could go home and watch a movie or something. Like, yeah, I work close by. So I'll just go get a pizza because I work at a pizzeria. So I go to my work, see my boss in my day off. It's like, what the hell are you doing here? She's like, oh, I'm in this
Pizza.
date with a girl. Like, okay, I guess. So I get a pizza to the place where we met. And that was the last time I saw her.
Aw.
Pizza was good.
No, She flaked on you. That sucks.
Yeah, well, it still beats the kick in the balls.
I mean, most things do, yeah. That sucks. Jeez.
Okay, I kept you long enough with my sad stories.
It's all right. I'm sorry that happened to you, though. That sucks.
Oh, well, you earned the scars one way or the other. So, just
Well, I
before
hope the next person you meet will be much nicer to you. 'Cause that's
well, I met
fucked.
you. I'm considering you now a friend. At least in my
Yeah.
book, you are a friend. Okay.
Thanks.
So in that regard, yes, you are nicer. You're a nicer friend.
I promise I won't kick you.
You know, if you're able to kick me from there to here, I will admire you. If you're
I
able
wouldn't even
to
be
kick-
mad. I'd be confused.
I will not be mad. I will be completely impressed. Okay.
Well, I will see. I'll be here.
Next Friday. And I will be streaming my own stream
Mhm.
at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is, let's see,
2 a.m. for Europe.
about, yeah, it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes from now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go get food.
Yes. Just real quick, give me a quick look at this.
Oh yes, big feedback.
What you think?
Oh, I like it.
Okay. Yes, I
Good.
still need to do the antennas,
Yes.
the thingy-my-boobers. Yeah. Okay.
Dearly Bob.
That's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys for keeping me company. Thank you, Alex, always
Yeah, no problem.
for being there. You know, listening to my sad stories about life and stuff.
Oh. I have plenty of bizarre and sad stories that I could also share. I just don't want to bring the room down unnecessarily.
And I
But,
don't mind sharing these kind of life stories because the more I retell them, the less real they feel.
Yeah, well, they don't hurt as much. They become
Oh, no,
over.
They hurt the same. They do exactly the same. They just feel less real for me. I don't know why.
Mm.
When you repeat something, it feels more like a lie to me. Like, you know, this thing is that. This thing is that. It feels more like a lie to me than truth.
Oh, well, maybe it feels more like closure.
I don't know.
Like it's closed, it's over, it's behind us.
I can still feel the impact down there.
I mean, I imagine you would remember what that felt like, yeah. But yeah, anyway. So I will be back here next Friday. I have a lot of fun here, and I probably will take you up on your offer to appear here periodically, even when we're done working on stuff.
And I'll be more than happy to have you.
Yeah. For my stream tonight, I'm going to be playing Darkest Dungeon. I'm going to start a whole new file just for that.
Yes, and real quick, just post your streams here, you know, so people can have the link in case someone joined later.
Yep, I will put my stream link in here. One last time.
Nice. And that's gonna be all for today. Thank you guys for being here, for being awesome. And I'll see you. I'll try to go back to the saddle and stream on Monday. But at least I'll be here on
Huzzah!
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you
Alrighty.
everyone, and take
Bye,
care.
everybody.